Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
Good afternoon, soccer fans. Today we have a AA matchup here at Bethpage High School. I'm Robert Anderson here with my partner, Brian Donahue, coach and fantastic co-host. And we want to say thank you, folks, to some of our sponsors out there, Lifestyle Sports, Edge Remodeling, Francesco's Construction, all making this happen today. So thank you to our sponsors. Again, it's in unseasonably 81 degrees at game time, 2 o'clock in the afternoon here at Bethpage. Brian, we have got a showdown. This has a lot of implications in the conference. AA's all around, never mind AA3.
Absolutely, AA3. You know, we got Bethpage trying to hop your team, Malvern East Rockaway, to take the number 2 seed. We got Carey trying to hang on to a playoff spot to keep hold of that 4 seed. It's a lot going on here on this field today.
And we have a battle of two very different styles of teams. We have a young Carey High School team, technical, fast, play quickly up top. And then you've got this very physical veteran Bethpage team. Brian, we've got a lot of things to enjoy in this one.
Absolutely. And, you know, like you said, Rob, it's definitely a team of two differing styles. You know, you've got Carey, who scores often early in the first half, Bethpage, who scores a lot in the second half. Right, it's definitely going to be a great showdown today with these two teams.
And it's totally a stunning, stat that you gave me. So, and we'll talk about some of the guys that do that early impact, get involved. We'll start with Carey. Give us these two.
Right, Evan Cardozo is one of the top guys. He's going to be playing the left wing for Carey today. 10 goals, 3 assists, 13 points. He is one of these guys who's the engine of this team. He's making them go. And Michael Lombardi holds it down in the back of the field there, center back for Carey. He's the guy who's going to set up that defense and get and keep them organized in the back of the field.
You got it, and we're looking forward to see both of them play today. Cardoso, top of the leaderboard in the county for goals. And then we will also take a look now at the Bethpage team. They've got physical leadership. There are guys up there that can make a lot of things happen. One of them, a name that we've heard quite a bit about, and we could see him. I believe that's him there. Number 18.
Luke Waxer, part of the great Waxer dynasty that's taken over Nassau County this year in both soccer and lacrosse. He's a big physical player, fast, strong on the ball. You know, you see it right there, 6 goals, 2 assists. And then you got to deal with Antoni Kulak, who he has a knack for showing up in big moments and scoring big-time goals. You know, he's one of these guys who's going to wreak havoc on that back line of Carey.
There you see him, folks. 2 of the Bethpage Warriors on this team for the Golden Eagles. And obviously, another big part of these games are the guys that are between the pipes. And, you know, we've got the 2 goalkeepers battling. We got a young goalkeeper. We've got in Carey, and then we've got a veteran goalkeeper. And we get a look at some of the Bethpage guys. They're getting their conversation in the middle right now. The officials for today, the veteran Frank Vizone and newcomer, but really fantastic referee Jordan Strump. You've worked with both of these guys before. We get a look.
2 class officials. They're going to have their hands full today. They call it a great game, and they're going to need to. And when we talk about these 2 goalkeepers here who are going to be between the pipes trying to keep these balls out of the net, you know, we talk about Chris DeCastro from Carey. 38 saves, 5 shutouts. He's going to need to be on his toes today to stop this lethal Bethpage attack. right? He plays the back of that field. He's really good. He's got to hold it down back there, right? One of the things that you have to be careful of as a goalie, as especially with this Bethpage offense who plays high pressing, quick and energetic, you don't want to get too cantankerous back there. You want to stay nice and calm and collected.
All right, let's take a look. There's our head coach over there at Carey High School. That's Matt Princey. I know Matt very well. Matt's been a rock for me this season as far as communication. The two of us going head-to-head. Long-time Carey coach. And talk about cantankerous. That Princey guy gets fired up, and he's ready for today.
Absolutely. And Rob, this is a Carey team that has missed the playoffs. They've been out of the playoff picture since 2021-2022 season, which was their last playoff appearance, and they're chasing that playoff spot, and these guys are in it, and they're ready to go.
And that gentleman with the white hat, not off of the Ryder Cup, that's the soccer coach right there. He looks like a golfer to me. But that's Danny Kramer. How about Dan?
Danny Kramer, the Duke legend. Danny Kramer, he was an All-American here for us in Nassau County, and he set some scoring records. He was an incredible player for Duke soccer team, and he's one of these coaches that brings an incredible pedigree to this program. I've gotten to know him quite well. He does a great job with this Bethpage Golden Eagles team.
So there you see it, folks. He is the guy that's leading the charge out there. Again, two veteran coaches. And now we're going to get to the starting lineups. We're going to take a look at Carey. And Brian, why don't you introduce us to the Big Ten?
Right, so we already talked about the starting keeper, Chris DeCastro. And as we go across the back line, Daniel Cruz at left back, and then the Michaels in the center of the field, Michael Lombardi and Michael Stratakis, and then Andres Jimenez right back. And then as a 4-3-3, there are three midfielders. They're Matteo Campoli, Christian Conti, and Franklin Avendando. And then up top, Evan Cardozo on the left wing, Mason Malicio up top, and Ethan Joseph on the right wing.
And there you see assistant coach Pete Burgess there giving him some words of wisdom. And how about the keeper? I know you introduced a little bit of information, but now we've got the photo shot there of Chris DeCastro.
Right. The key for any keeper is to be calm and cool and collected. 5 shutouts for this keeper in 10 games. Great job out of him, withstanding a lot of this pressure. But he's got 2 studs in front of him that are helping him out, and the 2 Michaels.
And take a look there at the coin toss, and you see that gentleman hands on the hip. That is their captain, Christian Toto. Christian Toto, a senior, he's up there, but he's got a torn ACL. He's got a torn ACL in the Elmont game. He's out for the season, Brian. So Christian Toto, heart and soul, unfortunate. We'll talk more about Christian throughout the game, but first let's introduce you to Bethpage.
Bethpage out of the back, Jacob Collar, the goalie, 68 saves, 4 shutouts for the Golden Eagles. And then across the back as they play a 4-4-2, classic lineup. They got Miles Daly, Michael Gaudio, Leon Jang, and Jack Valenti. And across the midfield, Chris Apollonar, Arian Calfan, Luke Waxer, and Jet Valdez. And then up top, the aforementioned Antony Kulak and Brady Herbert.
And those are brought to you by Lifestyle Sports and Apparel, located in Wantaw and Belmore. They've done a fantastic job, not only supporting the varsity media broadcast, but help from them in the Summer League, penny donations, and just absolutely fantastic people, folks. Get over to Lifestyle Sports for your apparel, and I'm sure Jacob Collar's going to do that. How about a little bit about Jacob, Brian?
Jacob Collar, I played against him last year when we did a little non-league work with them. Great kid, really responsible behind the pipes, in between the pipes, commands his defense really well, real confident back there, right? And you see him right there with the blonde hair, which is emblematic of this Bethpage program, where they sit there preseason and they dye all their hair as a team bonding thing.
You got to love it, and all these teams out there doing their bondings. I was speaking to Christian Toto's dad, Mr. Toto, all the team dinners and things that they do there. Folks, we're going to take a break as we get to the national anthem. Again, we're here at Bethpage High School. Where are you? Varsity Media Sports Network. We'll be back after this.
Now is a great time to book a sportscast with Varsity Media. What sets our sportscast apart isn't just the quality of our production, it's the knowledge, passion, and professionalism that our announcers bring to every game.
It's Merrill. Oh, look at a fake by Merrill. There's the spin again. Gary Merrill is not human. Touchdown, St. Anthony. Profeta! Profeta! 1-0! Garden City!
Our commentators research athletes and highlight storylines that matter to your communities. Our approach creates a broadcast experience that not only informs, but elevates the athletes, giving the kind of recognition usually reserved for professional levels. Varsity Media's announcers make sure that every athlete has their moment. So book a Varsity Media Sportscast today, and let's get your team the recognition it deserves.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships.
Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net. You've seen the dedication, the long hours, the early mornings, the sacrifice. You know your athlete has what it takes, but how do you make sure the right people see it? The recruiting process isn't easy. Coaches are flooded with highlights, but how do you stand out in the crowd? At Varsity Media, we specialize in creating game-changing ISO videos, high-definition, athlete-focused footage that highlights exactly what college recruiters want to see. With our up-close ISO video, we capture your athletes' key moments. No more wide angles showing other players. This is just your athlete's pure, raw talent. This is more than a video. This is the opportunity your athlete deserves. Give your athlete the edge they need. Make the right impression with Varsity Media's ISO video service. The future starts now. Now is a
And we are back in action here on the Varsity Media Sports Network at Bethpage High School. It is the Carey Seahawks and the Bethpage Golden Eagles, the Battle of the Birds down on the field. And I'm up here with my partner again, Mr. Instagram, Oyster Bay's captain, Brian Donahue. So this game is definitely not for the Birds, even though they're playing against each other. The standings, an absolute just mess right now. A whole bunch of teams able to try to qualify to get into this playoff and make some noise. And this is a big game.
A huge game. You know, we got 5 teams in the AA3s that are right there and will likely be playoff teams. You know, right now, essentially these games are all about standings and where you're going to finish and who you're going to face off in the bracket. You know, and for Carey, it's about wanting to finish high enough where they can avoid a play-in game. For Bethpage, it's finishing high enough and staying above your team, Malvern East Rockaway, so they can have a higher seed.
Yeah, right now we can say that, you know, there's 3 games left on the schedule after this one, this weekend, for all of these teams. Southside at the top right now with the most wins, also a ridiculous goals against. I mean, they have not given up much this year defensively, 2 on the entire season. So as far as that Southside team goes, they feel pretty comfortable. They've earned themselves a playoff spot, probably a home field advantage. And then here on the field, Bethpage sitting with 7 wins, same as Malvern East Rock at the moment. And Carey looking again, like you said, to battle in and get involved. But we've also got Manhasset in the mix. That's another one who's making some noise. So it's definitely tough at the top.
Absolutely. Manhasset sitting at 5-3-1 here. They are 2 games above 500. right now they are a playoff team. They just got to run out the string here. And as we get started here, Rob, let's talk about these keys of the game. For Bethpage, who's starting with the ball here, it's score early. They are all season, they've been a second-half team. They score the majority of their points in the second half. They've had a couple of games where they've scored within the last minute to win a game. So I want to see them get working this ball early and scoring early. The second thing I need them to see them do is to split up the Michaels, Lombardi and Straticus. They are a great center back duo. I want to see them get those two guys split, make them work a little bit more, and don't let them get settled in the back of the field. For Carey, now that we got Carey starting with the ball here, I want to see them withstand that first 10 to 15 minutes of this Bethpage press, right? They come out high. They're trying to force these mistakes, withstand that pressure. And number two, get Christian Conti involved early. He's the engine in the middle of this field. He's this vociferous leader. I want to see them getting him involved really early.
And you can see that first touch, Lombardi, we were just talking about, played it back to his keeper and, looked like a little chaos. And here we come back the other way. Carey looking to try to get something, some shoulder-to-shoulder battle there. And on that right side, it's Ethan Joseph trying to get himself breaking through. Andreas Jimenez with the throw, keeps it tight. Bethpage. So right out of the gate, Coach, they are physical.
Yeah, and, that's a sign of, two teams that are coming out here and they're fighting, right? They're not sleeping off the bus. You got a Saturday 2 o'clock game. The sun is bright, and as you said, Rob, it's 82 on the temperature, but you got to add probably another 10 to 15 degrees out there on the field. These guys it's already hot. They've already gone through warm-ups. Water is going to be a factor today, but these guys are coming out quick like this. This is a good sign for a good game today.
Jacob Collowwood, a nice kick, 50 yards, and Carey winning the 50-50. Another key to this game in the physicality is going to be that 50-50. Here's Joseph, a nice touch down inside to Cardoso. Cardoso has a look, takes a shot, and a can of corn there for Collar. He'll pick that up, and first shot on the net, Carey High School.
And Michael Gaudio and Leon Jang for the center backs for Bethpage, they're also going to have their hands full. All right, this Carey front three has 18 goals combined between the three of them. They're a lethal attack for this Carey. Eagles? No. Seahawks.
Big header there, a lot of contact, and the ball sent down to the flag. Bethpage looking to set something up. And, Brian, when you told me the stats last night about the two halves, I mean, it is stunning how different these two teams are. Carey really needs to try to get hot quick. But Bethpage, you cannot nap on them. They have scored late in games, literally within the last 2 minutes to win some. So you cannot fall asleep, and you want to try to get enough in the net ahead of them to make their lives difficult if you're going to win this game today.
Absolutely, Rob. And, you got a Carey team who is
well, that one looked like it was going to float out completely and then stayed in play, and we've got, I believe, an offside call.
And even though it's an offside, great job out of Chris DeCastro owning his box as a keeper right there and coming out strong on that ball and just punching guys away and knocking that ball away.
Yeah, Jet Valdez put a little, it's kind of like a chip shot, and I didn't think that was even going to be in play. So heads up there as Carey tries to move the ball up, and again, taking the 50-50. Nice run here by Malesio. Carey moves the ball very well. Here's Cardozo. He's got 3 on him. Cardozo finds space. A nice slide tackle out in the back. Cardozo trying to recover. Can't in time, and Bethpage clears.
You have to be a confident defender if you're going to slide tackle down there inside your own box. It's so many things can go wrong, and for the Bethpage defense to make that play shows you that they're playing a lot of confidence right now.
It also shows you that they're paying attention to Cardozo. I mean, it doesn't take much. You just got to flip to the Nassau County Soccer website, and you can see his name at the top. But they descended upon him 3 at a time to make sure he didn't do any damage. Carey right now definitely taking the control, and it's the aggressive nature. They are running through balls. They're getting the 50-50s. And, Brian, you got to be impressed with the tenacity for a team that took a bus right here.
Absolutely. And for Bethpage, I spoke to Coach Kramer last night and this morning, and these guys started today in the film room. So they were doing a little film breakdown of Carey, and then they came out. Carey was on the field before Bethpage. They were working on some things that they're going to look for out of Carey early.
Ball through to Cardozo. Cardozo has a shot. Again, a slide tackle and knocked out. But again, Brian, you saying with the film breakdown and paying attention to Carey's tendencies.
Absolutely, and maybe they saw something, and especially with this heat, maybe they're going to sit back and try and play some counters. Maybe that's the strategy for today. I would trust the guy that went and played Duke soccer to come out here with a good strategy for today, Coach.
Now, did he mention if watching film on game day is a regular occurrence or today?
He didn't, but the way he said it made it sound like it is somewhat of a regular thing.
I don't know that I know too many coaches that do that. That's you got to get the early birds there, and I like it.
Especially when you're in such a competitive league like this AA3, it's really just looking for any sort of edge you can get.
So Carey now going to have the throw in. It's going to be Andreas Jimenez. He dumps it into Campoli. Campoli with a touch back to Jimenez. And again, Carey just winning the balls. A nice play there by Campoli to stop it and go the other way. And Bethpage just getting stymied every which way.
That was a really impressive sequence there from Campoli. First, the box out on the throw-in, and then to win that ball back. Super impressive out of him.
And Carey does pride itself on those two-way type players. They can score, but they do a nice job falling back into the defense. They don't leave those massive gaps, which is going to be tough to get that counterattack if that is part of the plan. They don't leave you a lot of space for that counter. They don't nap.
No, and it's one of these situations, Coach, where you want to try and take advantage of every little hole you possibly can. And right now I'm seeing a lot of over-the-top balls through the middle, right? You want to, if I'm Bethpage, I want to tell these kids, hey, start playing these balls outside the numbers, meaning as you're looking at this field and you see the football numbers on the field, start playing those balls to the outside of those numbers to try and take the Michaels out of play.
And we've got a little infraction there blown by Frank Vizone. And it's going to be the second free kick for Carey in the defensive zone. So about 8.5 minutes into this game, and definitely what the doctor ordered. I think that everything we're seeing, we kind of expected. We'll see if the heat plays a role and the pressure by Carey plays any role in this first half. Some nice footwork there. Malesio. And Lombardi, a nice little step, gets control of the ball, trying to win that battle down there with Herbert. And he does.
Right, and that was a great job out of Bethpage by shifting that ball out to the side. And now you have Lombardi outside the numbers, and now essentially you have their left back playing center back, which is what you want to do.
And here comes Carey back the other way. Man, there was a good look there for Ethan Joseph, but wasn't able to play it up to him. Pay attention to Joseph up top on that right side, folks. He is a kid that plays space really, really well. And we see it up there. I mean, that's something I could tell you that's not a coach's note. Coach talked about him being fast and aggressive, but I can tell you he plays in space super well.
And finding space is very instinctual, right? You can do all the drills you want on the training pitch, but getting there and finding the space in a game, it's a natural thing.
We got John Barillo checking in, number 17. His nickname is Jack. And were there two subs? I saw a penny on, so it was hard for me to catch the second guy with the sub, but I know Barillo has jumped in for Bethpage.
Yeah, there was a second sub. He looks like he's on the ball now, Rob.
Is it Brandon Diamond?
It looks like Brandon Diamond up top.
There you go. What a name. Oh, running through the ball. This is what Bethpage does best, and here they come. A nice through ball, a little bit too heavy of a touch, but you got to tip your hat there as I believe it was Miles Daly, right, busting down there?
Great job, Miles Daly, coming out of the backfield like that. A little bit too much cream cheese on that bagel, Rob, getting that ball through. But, that was the play you want to make, right? Make that defense shift up and commit, try and play that through them, but it's just a nickel too much there.
You said it. He did a really nice job breaking through. That's what he right back like a rubber band, back in his position, didn't hang out up there. Something I got to teach my outside back sometimes, but a good job by Daly creating a scoring chance. This one is played out, but again, a little too heavy of a touch. That one was intended for Mike Verbanek. Verbanek was going to be a starter, a little flipperoonie, and he's back out there wearing number 11. Tough pass there, and here comes Bethpage back the other way. The pass to the outside, shot on net, and an easy save there for DeCastro. But now Bethpage gets their first tally on the board as far as shots go.
But, yeah, that was a nice sequence again, Rob. You know, taking a little shot like that, making that goalie work, seeing where he's at. You know, I don't hate the shot.
And we are now back the other way. Carey again trying to have some pressure. An open spot, a shot there, and a goal! Carey's the first one on the board as they do. And I believe, well, taking a look at it, it's Cardoso.
Yeah, it looks like that was Cardoso. He found an inch of space, and sometimes when you got a guy like that, 10 goals, 3 assists on the season, you tell him, hey, if you got some daylight, let it fire.
Yeah, there it is, Brian. Let's get another look.
Right there's the cutback. Find the little space, cut through, and just let it rip. And he finds that back corner, and there's really nothing Jacob Collar can do about that.
No, the Seahawks soar out to the lead 1-0. And Coach, what you got to love about it is that he found the space in the minute that third player came in to apply pressure. He decided to shoot that ball instead of taking the extra touch, which we see so much in high school ball.
Absolutely. And you know, I can't tell you how many times I yell at my guys, if you have daylight, shoot, right? And that's something that Evan Cardoso, he must have heard somewhere. If you see this, if you see some daylight, shoot the ball. He did it, and he just put a nice move on that ball, curling into that back post.
You might have heard also that Philip Beeben scored 2 today, and he's trying to catch back up in that leaderboard.
The race for the Golden Boot is on, Coach.
That is it, and Cardoso is a strong candidate. What a fun player. He's got a burst of speed, comes out of nowhere. But again, this is the narrative you presented before the game. This is what Carey does. Can they keep a lead, and can they ward off Bethpage for the remainder of this game? Massive implications, again, folks, for the standings. These teams are neck and neck in a very tight conference, the one people weren't sure was going to be as competitive as it is. And you're watching 2 of the finest on the field today here at Bethpage.
And for Bethpage, it's now just a matter of just taking a breath and settling back in.
It's another tough touch, and it's Cardoso again. Cardoso with the left, and a nice save there by Collar.
Now that's a play where you want to be yelling at your team, hey, everybody's better start cheering that on. That's an uplifting play from your defense right there. And, you know, having a defense jump in front of your goalie like that, that's an all-hands-on-deck type of play.
And how about Cardoso going to the left foot? He will go either which way, and you got to love that he doesn't hesitate. Again, Cardoso, the leading goal scorer on this team. And Coach said fast, strong, aggressive, can take his man down the line or cut back, and we've seen both. He's got a burst of speed. Now Bethpage trying to do something. Some nice touches there. It goes outside to Campoli. Campoli with a left-footed shot down out in front. Nobody there. Second effort off the top crossbar. And Bethpage now trying to counter. Another boot, a little misstep there. Carey steps in, ball goes out of play. DeCastro watches it float, but a nice sequence there.
And we're out for a corner kick, and that's going to be one of those plays, Coach, where we talk about film room sessions. He's going to be kicking himself there. He overcooked that ball. That's just a simple tap-in. You know, so often so many of these young players, they just want to let rip and try and put that ball through the back of the net. Just that's a simple tap-in ball. And we got 3 subs coming in now for Bethpage.
What a scoring opportunity there. And like you said, I mean, DeCastro doing a nice job positioning-wise, but really on Bethpage there. Here's the corner, short. And the touch right back. Carey gets to it first. A lot of substitutions, so that's a luxury a lot of coaches don't have. And Coach Kramer getting a whole bunch out there.
Yeah, especially in a day like today where you're battling the heat. You know, you're battling, you know, the sun blazing on you.
And the sun is blazing. You're not even kidding. And so far, again, sticking to the script, both of these teams. Here's an opportunity for Carey High School. It's a throw deep in the zone, Brian, and here we go. See if Carey can get something going. Throw back, short touch back to Jimenez. Gets out in front. It's a shot again, just a bit wide. Collar coming out of the net to secure that one. And he's had some action down there. He's been using his legs pretty darn well.
Yeah, Rob, he's been a little busy down there. And that throw-in is a perfect example of something that's quick and simple, right? Just throw it and just play it back. And it's a bread and butter play for so many teams. And it's just so hard to defend as well.
So coming back the other way, and, again, both of these teams have been physical throughout this entire contest, and the officials letting them play, understand the style of play, and look at this. How do you feel about Collar coming down and taking the shot? We see it a lot. He's got a good foot.
I love it. It's audacious, right? And you just take whatever you can and just he's going to play a great ball here. Now it's just a matter of him getting back in time.
It is a great ball. Puts it in play. The header. Carey wins it. And the second effort cut down there by Anthony Tonkin. And yet you could feel almost a sense of urgency. This is Bethpage playing in the second half, bringing it early. They have really started to muster up a lot of strength and energy since that goal. Nice ball down deep and
just a bit outside. And while they reset here for this throw-in, we got to mention, the people at home can see, I love how Bethpage reaches out to their community. They have the little kids out here from their youth soccer program serving as ball boys today. Having these connections to the community is so important to be building programs like that.
It absolutely is, and one of the things that is a trademark of Bethpage and Carey, I'll give it to them too, they have these great youth programs and invest in building those relationships, and that's why they look so good on the field by the time they get to this level.
It's how you create dynasties.
There's Jet Valdez, number 15, trying to break through. He's had 2 goals and an assist on the year. Jet, last year, part of the 4x400 relay team on track. He placed 5th in the state qualifiers with his teammates Brady Herbert and Braden Gorman. And if you're going to be a track star, why not name your kid Jet? How great is that? Jet Valdez is such an amazing name for any sport, for the WWE, whatever he wants. Now coming to the ring, Jet Valdez. But quite an athlete. He's got wheels. So Carey now trying to get something going again. This time it's a touch for Campoli. Campoli gets stuffed defensively. Bethpage really hunkering down back there now, Bri.
They are, Rob, and one of the things that I'm not liking what I'm seeing out of Bethpage is their midfield is a little bit out of shape. I think they need to clean that up a little bit. They're a little bit lost in there sometimes. They're allowing too much space here for Carey. They need to tighten that up, maintain their positions, and maintain their shape.
Yeah, on that particular play, you had Lombardi, the center back, who got up there and put a nice ball through. His teammate couldn't get the head on it, but he's one of those guys that gets involved in the attack and takes their free kicks as well. So Lombardi jumping in the attack. And another free kick now for Carey. This time they got it over the 50-yard line, so we'll see if they can do something here with it. Bethpage packing it in defensively. And that service is a beauty right down the middle.
Great job clearing that ball out from Bethpage.
And Carey once again winning those balls, going through those 50-50 shots. That one wide. A good effort there, though, by Carey High School to get the ball up to Mason Malesio. Malesio, one of those nose for the net guys, and coach said he stays calm and composed, uses his size well.
Calfan and Verbanek back on for Bethpage. And We had a sub from Carey, too. I missed who it was, but it's so important, Rob, to have fresh legs and to keep subbing them in and out and in and out. And I'm going to keep impressing upon that throughout the broadcast, especially on a day like today. You know, especially when water's at a premium. You don't want to be cramping up out there. It's a great challenge in the middle of the field.
And a back-and-forth battle indeed, and the Eagles come away with the ball. Arian Calfin, he gets taken down, and the fans oohing and ahhing, but nothing to call. It's a physical game, and we're going to see a lot of that back and forth. Here's a nice breakthrough play by Malesio. Malesio still has the touch. Malesio with his left takes a shot just wide of the net. You got to love that little bit of movement by Malesio.
And he had Collar frozen and beat, too. If that ball's about 1.5 feet to the left, that's 2-0 Carey. Great move on the inside by Malesio. I'm really impressed by this top three from Carey here, this front attacking three, Cardoso, Malesio, and Ethan Joseph.
Malesio 6 goals and an assist on the season, so he's been a big part of this Carey offense. And now Carey once again settling it down. And they're keeping Collar on his toes over there. You got to be impressed with the young goalkeeper there that, he's coming out of the net. He plays in. He really does. He times well his movement, which is a skill that's very hard to teach.
Yeah, again, it's all instincts. You know, sometimes these guys are just born soccer players.
And Carey, once again, a through ball. A good defensive play, but it's still knocking around down there.
And, Rob, I'm going to tell you, there's a name we haven't said since the game started here. I'm going to throw a name out at you.
I think I know.
Luke Waxman.
I knew you were going to say it, yeah.
We need to start saying his name. I want to see him start getting a little bit more involved here in the offense and the defense. Right? Sitting here in the middle of this field, playing more of like a 6 role, a CDM role. This defensive midfielder, I want to see him getting a little more involved. You know, he's a guy, he's a stud athlete, he's a stud lacrosse player, he's got motor for days, he's a guy who can make a lot of things happen here in the middle of the field.
And, credit Carey for making sure that he doesn't get much going, but we do know that he's such a physical presence that if he does get going, he can assert himself at any given time. He's a 2024 All-County player, Newsday Top 100 player, and the captain. 2025 All-American Honorable Mention. So that tells you enough. Ball gets through there. A couple bounces, and here comes Carey again. Verdoso takes the shot. A kick save there by Collar, and it's going to go out of play. But how about, again, that Carey offense with Campoli and Verdoso just absolutely finding space, time, and getting shots off.
Again, you have just an ounce of daylight. You take your shot, and, they're really making Jake with Collar work today.
That hockey-style save there and a beauty as Carey continues to put the pressure on. My goodness.
The law averages says you keep throwing balls in there at that net, they're going to go in eventually.
So Carey going to have the throw in here and continue to stay in the offensive zone. There's a little push on the back and an easy call for the official. Can't get airborne like that and knock a fella down.
Right, and here's a situation. I would shift the striker for Bethpage, make a move back and forth across the line, get a little fast break. But for Carey, it's digging in and it's just firing away.
Oh. That shot's off the post and a beautiful. That thing just bent at the last second and hit the post. A shot out of nowhere caught everybody off guard. The oohs and ahs again, and a fortuitous bounce that Bethpage was able to grab it. Nice shoulder-to-shoulder battle there. You got to love it. And the ball seemed to be out of bounds, but they're continuing play. No call on that except for Coach Princey. He's still looking. Shot continues on. It goes deep to the other side. Bethpage pushing. Controlling the ball is John Barillo. Jack. And Jack on the attack. Princey really not happy right now. It's tough. Take a look at these lines. I mean, we can't really see. If you see where the coach is right now, you've got this golden territory, this golden eagle wing here. And that yellow line and the white line, that's not easy for an official.
It's very hard to see, right? And, you know, these wide soccer lines, it looks like it's a field more designed for football and lacrosse than for soccer. And you're right, this yellow and the gold blend very well. But, you know, listen, credit to Bethpage. You know, you play the whistle. They had a nice sequence down there, got that ball across. They had a couple of nice looks at it. And, again, credit to the Carey defense. They're stepping up when it matters.
Yeah, Andres Jimenez, you know, nice shoulder-to-shoulder block there. And the ball went out, and he anticipated a whistle. Took a half a step, but then when he realized there was none, he did recoup pretty well. And that's a nice battle to watch. You can see that those two are really going at it. Jimenez and Verbanek. The verb. And here's a shot deep and wide. But Bethpage throwing everything. That was Antoni Kulak, the 2024 All-County Honorable Mention player. They call him Antosh.
And that's a shot I don't hate either, right? You know, you take a shot like that, you clip the corner, next thing you know, your team loses their mind, the crowd loses their mind. That's an uplifting type of thing. You know, and also you take a shot like that, and what you do is now you stretch the defense out, right? If they know you're shooting from 20, 25 yards out, now they have to stretch out, and then you can now start taking these shots down the wing and then drive baseline.
So we've got a stoppage of the clock as they're going to make an injury substitution on the Bethpage side. Referee Strump saying we're going to stop the clock for a moment. But to your point there, you know, you got a kid like Tosh Kulak, 3 goals, 6 assists. And that's a kid who's looking to play ball in college. And, you know, college scouts are going to look for guys that aren't scared to put the ball on net. Disrupt a little bit, as you said. It stretches the defense, pulls guys out, and also second opportunities, you know. Sometimes a keeper doesn't hold on to the ball, and it gives you a second chance.
Yeah, and I think Antoni is definitely the type of player who can play and succeed on the next level.
Got Nick Moreno checked in up top for Carey, number 9. He's got a goal and assist on the season, and Coach said he's not afraid to shoot from a distance, so kind of fit in that mold. We'll see if Moreno can get anything going up there. Just a sophomore. So with Moreno jumping in, you can see that Ethan Joseph, also just a sophomore, floating to the middle a little bit more instead of down on the wing. There's 2 sophomores out there trying to create some offense for the Seahawks, and Princey's got to feel good. How about this run? Almost a high kick call, but not called. Play on. And now Bethpage trying to put it on. A nice defensive attack. They're going to blow that as a attack from behind. So that's kind of an easy whistle, especially the way that Bethpage fell. So now a free kick in dangerous territory.
Very dangerous. And you got to wonder if are they going right to goal or do they have something cooked up? It looks like it might be a little far for a direct on the goal shot.
But you do have Luke Waxer, who's got a boot. If he's the one over it, he's actually walking away. So not going to be the one taking it. He looks like he's wanted to.
Right, now this is a situation, if you look at the way this wall's getting set up, send somebody down the left side, right? Just play a ball down there, and then you have like a de facto corner, right? That whole left side is wide open. Just send somebody on a run.
And it's going to be Kulak over the ball. He takes a shot right into the wall, and they just are staying like a wall back there, and Bethpage not getting anything through.
The Carey defense stood tall on that one. You know, 3 eats on that one. Great job out of them.
Kulak looking for the ball there and frustrated that they couldn't get the touch, but it's really a credit to Carey's defense right there that Kulak was unable to connect. You know, Brady Herbert, another one that they're going to look to feed up there. He's got 2 goals and 5 assists on the season. He was an all-county player as well last year, Newsday Top 100. kicker for the varsity football team. 2025 All-Division track in the 800-meter race, and was part of that 4x400 track relay team with his teammates Valdez and Gorman. So Herbert, another guy, Brian, that we're going to look to see get involved in some of this offensive attack for the Golden Eagles.
He's a name that I put on my goals page all the time when I'm doing the game reports every night for Bethpage. Is a name that came up a lot last season. He's having a 2-goal, 5 assists is somewhat of a quiet season, but he is certainly involved in a lot of what goes on for this Bethpage attack.
Well, what's interesting about the Bethpage team, at least my perception, they're not like a high, they don't score a lot. They just know how to win. They score at the right times, and they're not burying the ball, but those goals that they're putting in are timely and important. This one's put out in front. Looked like a hit off a Carey defender and rolled back out.
And that was a great 1-2 down the line. That was the right play. And I think that ball just needs to be dragged back and passed back to the top of the box, and then that's a rocket shot in the back of the net. Listen, Bethpage is right there. They just need a little bit more quality in that final third. Carey is just standing tall, though. It's just hard to get through a team like that. They're throwing 7-8 guys behind the ball. You really got to cook up a little magic back there.
And with a little under 10 minutes now remaining in this first half of play, 1-0, Carey High School. Seahawks over the Golden Eagles here at Bethpage. Again, folks, you're watching it all on the Varsity Media Sports Network, and the game brought to you by Francesco's Masonry and Edge Remodeling. We'll talk more about those two companies, but we got to thank them. They made the Carey Floral Park football game possible and this possible today. So thank you to both Francesco's and Edge.
I think the Bethpage attack might want to think about remodeling the edge of their attack right now.
Because of that Carey wall, they might be working for Francesco's Masonry, the way they build. All right, that was stretching it. Back the other way, here comes Carey High School, and, trying to build that attack. And I love that Ethan Joseph, sophomore, again. He just runs. They couldn't get the ball through to him. And now, nice field position for a free kick for the Seahawks.
Now let's see what Carey can cook up here going back the other way in a very similar position. Right, nice bit of skill here driving down. Right, and then that's. I think that might just be a desperation. We're going to lunge in, do whatever we can to stop them.
Yeah, you could be a stunt double for Kung Fu Panda there, but it's not going to fly in soccer. So it's going to be now a free kick. The zone is going to not count off 10, but do a little guesstimate. You got the line, so it's not too hard.
And I think this is a ball that might go right at goal. I mean, they're in a really good position. The ball's placed centrally.
And it looks like lining up of the ball is Franklin Avendano. Avendano has the shot, and it just goes wide of the net. Collar diving for it, but a little too much hook.
Now, he put a really good move on that ball, too. Nice curve on it.
And Avendano known more for his 1v1 skills out there, but he got over that ball and took a nice shot, just couldn't find it. And I can tell you, Carey faithful holding their breaths on that one. 2-0 would be huge for them going into the second half against this Bethpage team.
Absolutely, and I like that. I like that little set play they had to put a wall up in front of the wall. That was a nice little piece of play drawn up there on the training ground.
So Carey's going to continue play, no foul in that backfield, and now Carey looking for one, but we're going to continue on as the game continues to be physical. But again, I'll tip my hat, and as I do, to this officiating team. They're really towing the line on what's okay physical and not okay.
And what I like about these two teams is they have a lot of respect for each other. And as physical as it is, there's not an extra shove after the play. There's not a little elbow that you see some team. It's clean physical, which is what you want to see out of teams. I take that back.
Right on cue there. Brian Donahue.
I take it back. But even that, like honestly, Rob, like it's a foul, right? But it wasn't a foul where he's getting up and he's kicking out at the guy. It's not chippy, right? It's hard-nosed soccer from two hard-nosed communities that they're going after it, which is what you want to see here, especially at the end of the season like this.
For sure. I mean, it was an aggressive Jimenez, and that's part of his play, usually going shoulder to shoulder. And now here you have Collar taking one at the 30-yard line. I mean, before it was at about the 40. So he's got to jog if this thing takes a while, bounce the other way. He chips it in. A nice service there. The header is up. Second effort. And following it with his eyes is the goalkeeper, Chris DeCastro. So he's keeping an eye on it, never committed to anything, just kind of waiting for it to land, and nothing brewing there for Bethpage, but a nice service by the keeper.
Absolutely. I got to tell you what I would be nervous about with Bethpage taking these kicks. Now, I don't want to second guess Coach Kramer, but all I have is shades of Wes Hempstead scoring on Friends Academy, where they just hit a pot shot from the opposite 40, right? 70-yard goal bounced over the keeper's head, who was 30 yards off his line. Carey gets that ball real quick. You have no one in goal. You're just hitting a volley. Now all of a sudden, fortunes change.
And, they don't want to give up the defensive advantage. They had 2 high and 2 back. 2 back for Bethpage defense, 2 high for Carey. Maybe you give up the numbers and put an extra guy up there for that bounce the other way.
Right, stack the box. Just throw everybody in there.
Why not? Here's Joseph, a nice touch with his stomach twice. Pulls the ball back. It kind of slowed him down a little bit. He distributes out to the right side. It looks like Malesio. And a slide tackle there. Ball's going to go out. Unfortunate for Joseph that he just couldn't bring the ball down. It was hopping a little too much. Carey gets that ball right back and play quickly. Four minutes, a little over 4 remaining in this first half. 1-0 Carey. There's a shot right at the keeper. An easy one there for Collar.
Right, and honestly, if you're Bethpage, right, you're in a position where you have clinched playoffs, right? No matter what happens the rest of the season, you're in. 500 rules here. They are going to finish at worst 7-7, right? But maybe this is a situation you do take a little risk, because a loss isn't the worst thing in the world.
It's not the worst thing. Tell me. Okay, so the call, I didn't know which way that call was going to go. Looks like he called offside?
Looks like it was an offside call.
Okay. And there's a conversation down there. I was trying to decipher what was happening there. It looked like Christian Conti, the box-to-box midfielder back there. Coach calls him Roy Kent, if you watch Ted Lasso. Yeah, a little conversation. I thought it was going to be a foul on Conti, but an offside call first, so.
I do my Roy Kent impression, but I think the FCC would take us off the air.
Maybe off the air. In between, we'll hear your Roy Kent impression. Rebecca Kazaks loves Roy Kent. Head nod affirmation. There you go. So again, folks, we're back here. It's Bethpage. Under 3 minutes left on a hot soccer day here. A Saturday. Varsity Media Sports Network bringing you the real football on this Saturday at 2 o'clock. A double-A battle. Golden Eagles and Seahawks.
And let's not forget, Rob, some of these guys on this field may very well have taken the SAT this morning.
Oh, yeah. That's probably why it's a 2 o'clock game. Dealt with that in my game today. Missing 2 guys. Here comes Bethpage. A little hand on the shoulder. Nothing called. Did not interfere with play as they get all jumbled up down there. And then a call and a little conversation. I think it was just about whose shin guard was who.
Or either that or say, hey, what did you get on question number 16 in the math section this morning?
Yeah, how'd you feel in that verbal? Grammar section killing me.
Right, and honestly, that play, that whole sequence right there was built off of the strength of Luke Waxer. Somebody who's not as big as strong as he is, they're getting pushed off that ball real easy.
And let's be honest, after you get that foul, do you want to face off against Wax?
No, absolutely not.
That's when you just go, sorry, sir.
Yes, I'm sorry I touched you. I'm going to walk away now.
Waxer hand on the hip, looks a little just frustrated in general out there. And it's going to be Tosh over the ball. Kulak. Ball sent far post, and Bethpage high kick. The second effort header, I believe it looked like Lion Jang. Lion Jang.
And that was a nice play from Brady Herbert to get that ball up and across. You know, he's running back to the ball. He's got to turn midair, get that ball across. You know, good, fair piece of skill from him.
So another opportunity there for Bethpage, and Carey just continues to stymie them down the defensive end as Lion tried to get something going with that header. I also, you know, I'm impressed, I think, with the patience of DeCastro back there. He doesn't really commit until he feels like he has to. And that ball had a lot of movement down there. Speaking of movement, a nice ball there to Joseph. Joseph on the run, the turn a little too late. Collar recognized it, scoops it up. And, uh-oh. It looks like we're going to have a card, and it's got to be for a mouth because we saw no play that would indicate a card. So a dissent, I'm going to assume. And it's Jack Valente coming off the field. So they call him Reg, the midfielder, the junior, getting assessed a yellow card.
And now you have to make a big call here. You know, putting on my coaching hat. You know, we've got 20 seconds left in the first half. You got to weigh whether you put him out here in the second. He catches a second one. Now you're out the next game. I don't know what his yellow card situation is for the season. You know, whether he's sitting at X many. That's a tough call as a coach.
No, you don't want to put them in a bad spot, and I believe they're home again on Tuesday versus Malvern East Rockaway. So, you know, you want Reg available for that one, Valente. And that final play is going to sound the horn here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. It is 1-0 in favor of Carey High School in this AA battle in the standings on the field. You're watching it here on the Varsity Media Sports Network, and we will be back with the second half of this game.
Hey parents, coaches, and players. Ever wonder what makes Varsity Media stand out as the tri-state leader in sports live streaming and videography?
Well, I've been working with Varsity Media for, 14 years. When we have video needs, whether that be a game, whether that be a practice, whether it be social media, it's nice to know that somebody understands what we're looking for without asking for it.
We started working with Varsity Media back in 2021, and since then they've been an absolute game changer, putting our event on the map. Varsity Media couldn't be a better partner, and if you're looking to optimize your event, I couldn't recommend them anymore.
It's been great for us. You know, the kids really get excited when they know that Varsity Media is going to be here. Not just what's happening on the football field, but all the excitement that's around it. It really boosts the environment here, and everybody gets really excited for what's going on.
Varsity Media is reliable, professional, and their quality work is fantastic. It's like watching ESPN. The announcers are unreal, really do a great job of speaking to the coaches to get the knowledge of the players, the season, what's going on with the team. There is nothing better than Varsity Media doing a live broadcast.
If you'd like to book with Varsity Media, reach out at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is halftime here in the soccer game, and we are here with three of the finest officials that we've got in the sport. We'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Steve Denisi. I've been in the organization for 24 years. Also a college national referee, USSF regional referee.
I'm Jonathan. I've been reffing for 6 years now, but this is my first year doing Nassau, and I've been playing at Oneonta at college, playing for 2 years now.
My name's Bobby Baldwin. I've been a referee for 14 years. I've been with the Nassau County Association about 10 years. I'm also a NYSOA NCAA official, in addition to a USSF and futsal referee. And just recently got involved with amputee soccer and was fortunate enough to represent the U.S. in the Gold Cup in Mexico recently for World Cup qualifiers, which was a lot of fun.
All the years that you're doing this, can you tell us what kind of preparation you guys have to do off the field to be in the type of condition that you're in to officiate an entire soccer season?
Fitness is probably the most important thing. You got to keep up with your fitness. That's the most important. The rules, because they're changing, and just watching the game, all the clips that you see on TV that are shown, and all the games, and the best way for education is watching soccer.
And Jonathan, you're new to Nassau County Soccer. Can you tell some of the young guys that are interested in joining, or the older guys that are interested in joining the association, what did you have to go through recently to get to where you are today?
So I had to take a lot of classes, just like recertifications to get started, get back into it, because I've had experience reffing, and for Nassau, for high school soccer, JV, whatever it is, it's a process, but it's definitely worth it in the long run. And, to tag along what Steve said too, just preparing is also very good off the field. I always grew up playing soccer and, just watching it on TV, so that also helps a lot, tag along preparing and, just having that experience is very, very helpful.
What kind of things do you look for as an official and make sure that your games are going well?
During the game, as a referee, you're constantly measuring the temperature of the players on the field, trying to determine who's frustrated, and so we can identify problems before they manifest. We try to manage those situations as best we can without having to use the whistle, hopefully, and or worst case scenario cards. But that doesn't always work, and those tools are there at our disposal to be used as necessary. I have to say that over the years, the coaches and the players and the association have been working together, and I really see an improvement all across the board, whether it's spectators, fans, player behavior, bench decorum. We've made strides together, I think, in finding a good middle ground, because at the end of the day, it's always going to be a little crazy, and that's why it's fun. As referees, we feed off of that energy.
What kind of advice or what kind of message you want to give to parents? They're an important part of our game, fans in general.
I think the spectators, I think the most thing is to be positive and to set a good example for their young student athletes. If they're screaming profanities or negative stuff throughout the whole contest, it's not a good way to grow. Not every call is going to go their way. It's 50-50. You have a 50-50 shot at getting it right. That's what we always say. But if you see the overall big picture, I think a lot of fans don't understand the overall big picture of the game. And the big picture is this: one call doesn't decide the game, and sometimes they harp on the one big decision. Now it might be a big decision, but remember, soccer is whether it's 70 minutes, 80 minutes, 90 minutes, 120 minutes. It's the whole length of the game. So they, as the athlete should perform throughout the whole contest, the referee is also performing throughout the whole contest.
Can you tell people just one, I guess, basically, and we're going to try to put that graphic up there, but how people can get involved if they want to become officials, and advice that you have to young guys coming into the game?
We've worked hard on the offseason to recruit, first of all, a lot of newer referees, a lot of referees that are experienced, and but new referees to the organization. I think that's going to be reflected on the field this season. You're actually, for the first time, going to see three-man crews on regular season games, which we never thought would happen, at least in my lifetime. So that's really exciting and a testament to the recruiting that we've done at Nassau County Boys Soccer Officials Association. So that would be the best place to go, is the website, Nassau County Boys Soccer Officials Association. If you Google that, it'll come right up. Just make sure you've got Nassau Boys. There are several different associations out there, although ours is certainly the best.
Like what Bobby said about recruiting and stuff, we're really excited because in the next 3 years, we want to be really, really young, really, really top-notch in the state, and that when we send the best product out to the field, the fans are going to appreciate it, the coaches are going to appreciate it, and more importantly, the student athletes are going to appreciate it.
We want to thank all of you guys for joining us here on the Varsity Media Sports Network, and very honored and privileged to be talking to you guys this evening.
For all the latest Varsity Media updates, including our game schedules, be sure to follow us on social media at Varsity Media, the home for New York high school sports.
And we are back here on the Varsity Media Sports Network at Bethpage High School. The AA3s going to war today. The Battle of the Birds again. And right now, Brian, it is Carey High School on top, 1-0, something that we thought was typical of, what you expected. This was your game call, right? First half, second half has been Bethpage's resume builder, their forte, what they do best. I heard some vociferous, loud, energetic coach's speech from Bethpage as I meandered. And then on the other side, it looked like a little bit of a calmer, cool conversation there on the Carey side. We're going to go to you as the coach right now. What is each side saying?
Well, I always say, Rob, this is a game of adjustments, and halftime's the only time you really can. For Bethpage, you have to attack with numbers. Right? You can't keep sending one guy against that back four of Carey. When Bethpage has attacked with numbers, they have been successful.
And let's take a look there. This is a conversation, unfortunate. That is Christian Toto, the senior defender, the captain. He tore his ACL versus Elmont. Christian is such a huge part of this team. Coach said he's the heart and soul on and off the team all year. Hasn't changed since his injury. He's still a leader and a captain from the sidelines. Kid shows up to every practice. Inspires his team in huddles, and, it's killing him that he can't play. Impact on the team, huge. I had a chance to talk to Dad prior to the game. It's killing him, too. He hates that his son's got to be out. He's going for surgery once the season's over. But take a look over there, guys. Christian Toto, huge part of the team, on and off the field, and you got to love when a kid is so dedicated. Brian, a captain especially, senior year, sticks around to do the intangibles.
Yeah, so many times we see guys that get hurt and then they just disappear from the team. Seeing him on the sidelines, you got to hope these Carey boys came and looked at him and said, hey, I got you, right? And that's the kind of thing you want to build a team around. I got you. I understand you're hurt. I understand you can play. We got you. We're going to pick you up. We got this for you.
Yeah, you got to love it. And you can see Christian just intense. He's all Carey all day long. And unfortunate, Christian, wishing you the best and speedy recovery. I had that ACL surgery. I talked to him about that before. And He's a young man. He'll rebound. It's all better now, the types of surgery they have, but stinks that he's going to miss the rest of his senior year on the field anyway. But the guys that are out on the field, Brian, they're here now, ready to get things done. We'll see if Carey can lock it down and if Bethpage can turn up a notch. It's a game where both teams could press because of the importance.
And I hope they can for Bethpage, too, because I'll be honest with you, I don't love how they came out onto the field. They came out a little sluggish, a little defeated. Carey came out with a lot of energy, right? And as to be expected, you're up 1-0. You've almost been able to do whatever you want against this Bethpage team. Bethpage was very slow to come out of the locker rooms, and that's an advantage. They were able to go into a shaded locker room while Carey had to sit in a net under the sun.
And how about Bethpage coming out quick, little shoulder to shoulder. Nothing gets called there. Bethpage not happy, coaches or players.
And Coach Kramer is screaming over that one as well as he should be.
I actually think that's his assistant. Kramer's
the cool.
I don't want to get him. He's the calm, cool one. So I don't want to get,
He's the one who realizes it wasn't a foul because they didn't blow the whistle.
There you go. Danny's with the arms crossed, just observing, waiting for a spot. And here comes Carey back the other way, trying to make something happen. It's Evan Cardoso. Cardoso, the goal scorer right now. It's nifty move there. He has a shot. That one just over the net. But a tough one there, and you can see. Did you see Prentice's reaction?
Yeah, it was right there, and that seems to be his bread and butter move, right? Bring it. You're out on the left. You drag it back into the right. You have a step or a half a step on the defender and let rip. Bethpage is going to have to do a better job of closing down that space on him.
And here he comes again. A nice, almost looking to get that ball through to Campoli, but instead we're going to play it back. Little reset here. Christian Conti with the ball. So coming out guns a-blazing with the Eagles. They had a quick striking opportunity that was busted up. And now Carey trying to bring it back the other way. Here's a long ball. A lot of time there in the defensive zone.
And it looks like one of those adjustments that Bethpage has made is it looks like they dropped one of their strikers into the midfield. So it looks like they're playing more of a 4-5-1 as opposed to a 4-4-2, which is great, right? It fills some holes and some gaps in the midfield, strengthens your midfield presence. Here's the only negative. You're sending a solo striker up top, and when you have a really talented center back duo like Lombardi and Straticus, you have to push with numbers, especially from your wingers.
Going to call a shove there on Cardoso.
Yeah, his arm came up. That's an easy call for Frank Fasone, who was literally feet from the play.
Yeah, when it comes to now, like you said, the adjustment to that 4-5-1, it's going to take away that press, but it does create a little bit more volume as far as going east-west and, not as much north-south, but they're going to cover more space. They can get involved defensively, and you've got some stud athletes. Waxer, one of those guys who is playing in that middle up top.
Right, and now you're gonna have to rely on your wingers, right? You have to rely on Apollonar, Valdez, Verbanek. You got to rely on these guys on the outside to now push and to create the pressure on the outside, which is now where you want to start playing those balls. Ball goes to the outside, you swing it through, and now you hope Brady Herbert can make some magic in the top of the box.
Well, and here comes Kulak. Kulak gets that ball outside. That shot right on to Castro. So getting some movement down there on the ball. And that was a chance for them. And here they come back the other way. So definitely, as you said, moving the ball a little better and creating a little bit more opportunities in that midfield. But here comes Carey back the other way. And, oh, my goodness, taken down pretty hard there. And no call, but you can see a pretty frustrated Cardoso.
Yeah, and Frank Fasone, the ref, he was sitting there making that motion of the ball with his hands to let everyone know he got all ball on that tackle.
I think the argument from the coach was it was from behind.
Yeah, and that's one of those risky tackles, right? If you don't execute that perfectly, that's a card, right? You're stopping a promising attack. But listen, you're down 1-0 in the second half. You got to take some risks.
So that last kick there, we haven't talked too much about him, so we mention him now. Number 25, Braden Gorman. He's got a goal and an assist on the year. Again, part of that 4x400 track relay team. That was 5th in state qualifiers. And he is a converted defender, now playing up in the middle and up top. So Gorman has become part of that scoring team up top. So with an extreme burst out of the gate for Bethpage, right now a little more methodical, tactical, and we'll see if this different style works for them as they try to tie this game up. Down 1-0, 35 minutes remaining in the game.
Yeah, they've kind of gotten away from the things that got them here, right? They're not playing. They're not the same Bethpage team that I've done a lot of work scouting. A little surprising they're not playing that high press, that speedy, push the ball like the way they have in the past.
They do wear teams down. I mean, maybe at some point you do see them go back to plan B. This could all be a lure, see what we're doing and then make the switcheroonie at a certain time.
Right, maybe it's like that Rocky move, right? Just take a beating for 14 rounds, and in the 5th round, just switch back to the southpaw.
Here's Joseph. Joseph, a nifty move. Gets it out to Cardoso. Cardoso now. Also, it's a footwork, playing it back on the reset. Gorman coming in quick with the attack. Kind of pressure you want to see. Waxer as well. Try to disrupt, but Carey stays calm, cool, and collected. Sends that one in. And it looks like off the back of Christian Conti down there.
There was some pace on that ball.
And that one put out in front. Broken up by Bethpage. And Carey continuing the pressure, sending some of the defenders down there now. Looks like Andreas Jimenez starting to press in there. Carey really getting a lot of touches here and just building. Joseph pushes that one out. It's going to be out of reach and roll out of bounds, but they're starting to really move the ball well.
Yeah, they're playing with a lot of confidence right now. Up 1-0, 33 minutes, and again, they can seemingly do whatever they want on this field. That's just going to continue to build confidence. And for Bethpage, you got to wonder if the frustration is going to start setting in here for these Golden Eagles. Frustration leads to bad touches. It leads to now, pointing fingers at each other. And, they just got to settle in, take a breath, realize that, hey, we've been here before. We win a lot of games here in the last 10 minutes. Just keep playing our game. It's coming.
So moving that ball again back and forth. Carey beating them to the ball, getting the softer touches. A little delay move there by Shratakis. And Carey's just winning the possession game. Bethpage player down. Looks like a hamstring. They're going to continue play. Carey has possession, and there's a stoppage now for the injury. You had mentioned earlier the hydration. A day like this, cramping that can take place. Hoping it's just that, and it will be a stretch. We'll see if they send the trainer out, which means there'll be a substitution.
Right, that's a rule that was enacted a few years ago, where as soon as the trainer comes on, the player has to come off the field.
All right. Well, while we do this, we're going to talk about some upcoming sportscasts. And, folks, Glen Cove, Garden City, the Battle of the GCs on October 7th. That's a 5 p.m. soccer game at Garden City. And then we've got Syosset versus Baldwin, AAA battle on the 8th. So it's back-to-back, and you can find it all on youtube.com/Varsity Media on the Varsity Media Pass. And it is soccer, soccer, soccer. How about those games, Brian? Garden City, Glen Cove, Syosset, Baldwin. Got some bangers.
Those are two big games, right? That Garden City, the GC game is always a game that those boys get up for. You got nationally ranked Garden City against this Glen Cove team who is always sneaky where, they kind of hang in the middle of the pack. Next thing you know, they've got an All-American. They're making this deep playoff run. And then with Syosset and Baldwin, you got Baldwin who's battling still for a playoff spot, inexplicably so. The AAAs are just all completely upended. It's so tight. And, you got the Syosset who is, they were at the top of the table at one point. Now they're down. Now they're up. The AAAs are all over the place. So it's going to be a great game.
It is a great game. And, hey, let's talk about the people who made this game possible today. Francesco's Construction, owned by the Carbone brothers, Nunzio and Frank. Spoke to Nunzio this afternoon. They're located in West Hempstead. All your masonry needs, construction needs, outdoor legends, and then we can remodel your home and build Eddie Edge. Eddie Marquez, graduate of Sewanaka High School, Edge Remodeling. And Eddie, tip of the hat, Eddie is also the fella who gave us the $500 scholarship for Nassau County Soccer for any young athlete looking to pursue a career in trades. Also donated a $1,000 scholarship to football for the same cause, and has made so many of these games possible. So to the Carbone brothers and Eddie Marquez, thank you guys so much for making this game possible. Carey, thanks you. Bethpage, thanks you.
And expect a call from Brian Donahue real soon. I have some work I need to get done on my house.
I actually have both as well, including a new stoop. So, might be getting a call from both of us. And again, all the action on the Varsity Media Sports Network. And it is soccer time as we head into October playoffs. Farmingdale College, the host once again. And that throwing a deep one. Bethpage maintains possession here. That chip is going to go wide. Nobody on the other end able to keep it in. Nice move to the inside. Defense kind of took a nap on it, and then a stop there by the Seahawks, and we'll come back the other way.
That was real techie. Nice piece of skill work down there. Again, there's this Carey defense standing tall here and withstanding all the pressure.
Through ball there that doesn't connect, and Carey continuing. Bethpage trying to get those through balls, but continues stoppages. And now the ball gets pushed up top to Jimenez. And Bethpage continuing to battle here. And Brian, I just noticed that Valenti with the yellow card back out on the field.
Right, something to keep an eye on here with him, Rob.
Again, it shows you that this game matters a lot. You take the risk and hope that he can, keep his emotions under pressure. It was a descent. Here's Cardoso. Sends it out to the middle. A lot of space in the middle now. And a nice distribution there to Joseph. Joseph been involved in what seems like every offensive play for Carey. Also out there now is Malesio. Joseph continue battle. Joseph's just a sophomore. I mean, what do you feel about that, Coach? He has been. Is that the kind of guy you want on your team, sophomore?
Absolutely. I think I say this at my senior dinner with my kids. The beauty of coaching soccer is that we get some great time with these kids.
All right, here comes Waxer. Waxer's got some space. And he gets forced down and out. What a good job shielding and boxing out there. Forcing the corner kick.
Forcing the corner. I was saying the beauty is we get this time where we get to bond with these kids and form these great relationships. But the curse is our time is so limited.
Yeah.
So when you can have a kid like a sophomore out here and you get 3 years with him to develop and really get him to work with your program, it's a gift.
It certainly is a gift, and one that keeps giving there with these sophomores. Carey's got a young club. And they are holding on with under 30 minutes here, 29 almost to be exact. And a corner kick here, and you can see there's a lot of congestion right out in front of DeCastro.
And I like they have somebody right on the keeper. I like that move.
Chip shot, nobody home. Not sure if it was a misread or not put into the area they wanted to, but nothing going there on that corner.
Yeah, that was definitely a misplayed ball. I don't think he wanted to put that there. When you have a conference like that on the corner flag, trying to cook something up.
So Carey is going to get a free kick here. Foul called against Bethpage. And a risky across the field move there. And here comes Carey. Some nice touches.
Oh, that was a little techie right there. We got a couple subs coming in for Bethpage, and this is now 28 minutes left, down a minute, as standing on the side of the field as a coach, putting my coach hat on for Bethpage. Every single time that Carey goes to throw in the ball or take a kick, you're going to sit there and say in your head, they're taking forever, they're milking the clock. right? Even though it may only be 5 to 7 seconds
It's
in your
gonna-
head,
yeah.
hey, stop milking the clock. Let's put the ball down and play.
Yeah,
because now you're starting to press. Now you're starting to say, hey, boys, let's get up and go. Because every second that ticks off this clock is less and less time we have to stage a comeback here.
And you do have a very composed Carey club today. They are really just building plays, making passes. And just like you said, here's a ball rolling, and in no rush to get it is Andreas Jimenez. So Jimenez now checking his line, and nobody checking in. Joseph quick checking back. So Bethpage still with one up top. Nothing has changed. 26 minutes. We'll see if there's some kind of marker or denotation in the clock. Maybe 20 minutes you start to see things a little differently. But right now they're trying to use that one up top, get the ball high. Carey, not as many scoring opportunities, but they are controlling possession. Here's Avendano. He has a shot. That one goes wide.
And for Matt Princey and the Carey Seahawks, you have to be happy about this, right? If we look at their last 2 games, they take, to be fair, they take a shellacking at the hands of Malvern East Rockaway. They lose 6-2, and then they come back and they tie 0-0, top of the table Southside, and now they're putting in work here. That's a great response from this Carey team after that 6-2 loss, right? This is the kind of thing is a confidence builder for you as Carey, and it's something that can take you through into the playoffs. Again, a playoff that they haven't been in years.
Yeah, you said it. If they can hang on to this one, it is a massive turnaround. And, I spoke with Coach Princey after the 0-0 and said, what happened? He goes, we were mad. We had a conversation. We were ready to bring it back. And honestly, some of the few points that Southside's given up, Southside wins most of their games, and they took that tie. A massive point for Carey High School.
And again, they're chasing that run back into the playoffs. Last time they were there was 21-22, where they lost 5-0 to Jericho. Now none of these guys were on that team, but they want to get back there.
And now this ball's distributed up high, broken up there by Jack Valente.
Because, Rob, if you're in a one-game-off scenario, would you bet on somebody like Evan Cardoso, as dangerous as he's been today?
Goodness gracious. He's going to draw attention. I mean, the jury's out. Obviously, everybody knows about Cardoso, but he is a difference maker. You play a play-in game, playoff game, he's a difference maker. And I can tell you, Coach Prince, not that it's any surprise, does not want to play in game. He wants to lock his spot. And coming up against the teams, this is the gauntlet for him. He had Malvern East Rockaway, Southside, Bethpage. This is it right now. He is in the middle of the muck. I think he's got one. Does he have one left with Manhasset, Coach? I believe he does.
I believe so, yes. He's got Elmont, Clark, and he finishes with Manhasset.
Right.
And now those brackets will all come out on, I believe, the 18th. We'll have all those brackets out. And the playoff game, the play-in games are that Saturday, the 18th. So we'll have everything settled and ready to go by then. So we'll know. Let's see what Bethpage can cook up here.
So it's going to be Collar. He's deep in his zone. This one's on the 35. We've seen him go as deep as the 30. A nice piece set in, but it's going to be right on to Castro. Not what he wants to do. So Castro's going to take it to the ground. And thought about the throw, just going to roll it out to his defender. Don't love that, but they got the ball out quickly. And a nice engine there as Joseph jumps in. Joseph takes the ball down to the flag. A nice cutback move. And Carey keeping it down low. Obviously, this is a place where you want to hold the ball, but at the same time, they have the ability to try to get something going here. You don't want to focus too much on killing clock. Nice tackle there And a touch and turn. Cardoso has a shot and off the post. Oh, my goodness.
That's the third ball off the post for Carey this game. Cardoso looking so dangerous, right? And that's a situation where the Bethpage defense did not close down that space fast enough, giving Cardoso so much room.
And it might have been deflected. I mean, we saw that replay now that after I saw it, it looked like it might have hit off that defender that was sliding at him. And that's why it redirected. He looked like he was going right, and it took a hard left. But you said it. I mean, you bet on him every time. He's a dangerous player.
And we saw last year in the playoffs, Rob, when you have someone like Henry Hernandez, for example, right? Or then you have someone like Jeremy Velez in Massapequa, or you have someone like Nico Detroit at Farmingdale. You have a solo player like that, they can change games completely.
They certainly can. They draw a lot of attention. And, you know, another thing that you love about players like that is that when everybody hones in on them, it does open space for a secondary guy to do something big. So the clock continuing to move. Carey continuing to just dominate possession time. Nice pass there. And Kulak gets the ball through just a little too much of a heavy touch.
That was a great through ball by Christian Conti. I love the composure. He slotted that ball through real well. Just couldn't finish there on the end.
And now Bethpage, they've got an open opportunity here. 1v1, the shot to Castro with the save. He jumps back up on top. And boy, you know, they would love to get that shot back. Left foot, not enough mustard on it.
Yeah, that's a ball where you have some more time to take a couple of more touches. I think he rushed his shot a little bit. It was a nice move on the ball either way. But that's all just running through the ball.
And here's another opportunity. Ball put through, broken up by Carey. And folks, I apologize. I think it was a Polinar that took that shot. The numbers are tough for me in the sun. But a good scoring opportunity, probably the best opportunity they've had. Here's another through ball broken up by Carey, and they have got to open up their eyes on this one, folks. They are giving up those through balls. That one almost super dangerous.
And that's a big confidence booster, right? A couple of plays like that. That first one, that first through ball that was saved, and now that last one. Now we can now start to momentum shift, right? We got the big Mo going now. Let's shift that momentum, keep the ball on this side of the 50, and let's start putting in some work down here.
So a big throw-in opportunity here down in the offensive zone. And it's a high throw put right into the box. Headers bouncing around. Second effort. Oh, off the back of a Carey defender. But that one, if that had eyes, Bri, that was going to be right on the net.
Absolutely. And you see now Bethpage is starting to crash that net, right? They need to get a little more aggressive on that back post because as good as Chris DeCastro has been, he's getting a little stone handsy with these balls. They're falling onto the turf. Get somebody on that ball and pounce. Right?
Just setting up for the corner kick, and you're absolutely right. He's got to make sure here that he's able to do that as Tosh Kulak is going to take this corner. It's sent deep, and again, nobody home, one of my bugaboos. But they do gain control, send it back the other way. Kulak again. Kulak has a shot, and how about that save there by DeCastro? Not an easy one. The kick and gets on top again.
Huge save from DeCastro right there. Potential game-winning, game-saving save from him. That's a big-time player stepping up in a big-time moment. Right? Kulak had a good angle on it. He had to put a nice move on it. And, you see right there Michael Lombardi picking up his goalie, giving him a little, that a boy right there, or a little, good boy.
DeCastro, though, you got to give him credit. He makes that save, and while the hands have been not necessarily the vacuum, he pounces on top of that ball quickly.
He does, and this is where you want to show your team that little clip from the Mighty Ducks, right, where they're throwing the garbage in front of Goldberg. Clean up the garbage, boys.
His collar taking that shot, sending it in. It's a good ball. Oh, my goodness, just a misconnect there. Not sure what happened. But, oh, my goodness. That was
right there.
I don't know what happened, if you didn't see the ball or what, but my goodness, that might have been one of the best scoring opportunities without a shot even happening. I mean, that thing was wide open, straight to the net. And this is what we have discussed. We discussed before the game and for Bethpage. This is what they do. I mean, I'd have to argue, and I'll say double A's, the most dangerous team in the second half in the waning minutes that I've seen.
100%. This is a team you can never count out, especially when it's close. 1 goal down, you can never count this team out. And by the way, heads-up play from the winger right there as that ball's going to the sideline, just jumping out of the way to win that throw-in. Heads-up play, high IQ.
Got another corner kick here. I believe Waxer sending it in, and it bounces around again. And this time they're trying to figure out who got the last touch.
Looks like it's going to be another corner kick now from the other side.
Yep, little conversation. Both of the officials today, Strump and Vizone, on the headsets. So that was a conversation. It looked like Strump might not have seen that touch, confirming with Vizone, and we have another corner kick here.
And I think that's something that the Nassau County Soccer Officials Association was trying to do for all of our games, right? All the officials have been mic'd up all season. So great work out of them making that change.
And that one is going to go deep. No touch this time. It'll be a goal kick.
Right, but this is a simple little adjustment that they can make, right? 3 straight corner kicks have gone deep. Send somebody wider to receive that ball.
Does it sound like a conversation we had at a AAA matchup not too long ago? This drives me nuts. I'm going to be honest with you. I yell at my own team constantly. It's high school ball. It comes through. Put somebody back there. It's a second touch.
I screamed it about 7 times in my game this morning.
And you could designate a guy that can handle it. I mean, here's another through ball, another opportunity. Kulak with a shot, another kick save, second effort. He's back out to Castro, another save. And they're continuing that touch out of bounds, but they are peppering to Castro, and he is coming up big hockey style. I mean, with the feet so far, he's been making kick save after kick save.
That is all hands-on-deck defense from Carey, just throwing bodies in front of that ball. But credit to Bethpage, they are finding that slot through on the backside of Lombardi and Straticus. They're making those runs. They're sending some really good balls through.
Here's another corner kick, and is it going to go deep? It does, but this time a touch picked up by DeCastro. He could settle it down. And this is definitely a higher anxiety. 5 minutes of just all Bethpage shooting gallery. This is where if you're a coach in a sport, in soccer, you wish you had a timeout. Everybody else has the luxury. Coach Princey would love one right now, just to say, settle down. And here we go back the other way. And Carey now bringing numbers. 4v2 as Bethpage starts to drop back. And they get the quick clear back the other way. Calvin gets that ball up top. Oh, my goodness. You know, you're starting to see a little bit of, indecisiveness as well with some of the Carey defenders. A nice move there to get that ball up and out.
Well, you don't want to be the guy that gives up the mistake and gives away the game, right? And you've seen from Bethpage a number of through balls here, and there's a couple of mistakes that have been made, especially with coverage and how you're running with your guy. You don't want to be the one to make that critical mistake.
Avendano on that last carry drive, sending that ball deep. Collar was out there to pick it up and try to send it back the other way. And, Brian, I got to tell you, one of the at halftime there, I was talking to our PA announcer, Mike, and Mike told me that Jet is also in the aviation program. He works on planes. So not only is Jet Valdez the best name in sports, but thanks to Mike, the PA guy, telling me that he's going to go fix planes. I mean, and he flies like an eagle. What can you do? Jets made for this.
I could honestly see a day in about 10 years from now. I get on a plane and I hear, this is Jet Valdez, your pilot speaking.
And you're going to hear this. Rob Anderson, his agent. Lion and Jet. Bethpage has got something going. And they got something going on the field as well. They have been absolutely dominant in the offensive zone. Big throw here. And Carey, like, really hanging on right now is what it feels like.
They are. It almost feels like I know they haven't done it, but it almost feels like they've parked the bus and they're just playing for. They're just going to sit back and just play. Great throw in there from Miles Daly. We're going to do it again from him.
But you said it. They're not parking the bus. This is just what it feels like because Bethpage is relentless. AA coaches, like, update your that one just over the net.
I mean, in fairness, they do have 10 behind the ball.
So we've got, again, Bethpage winning that 50-50. The ball put right on the blue jersey. And they are still coming. That one, the header, DeCastro out to meet it. And again, pounces on top. While you said earlier, too, they want to be deliberate, a little deliberate. You can't go overboard with some of the throw-ins and this. You don't want that to become your identity because that creates nerves. Even slowing down a game, I don't know, it drives me nuts. I'd rather keep the intensity the entire time. You got a whistle there going against Carey.
Right. To your point, Rob, you don't want to disrupt your rhythm.
No.
Right? Listen, I think every single coach in our county plays some gamesmanship, right? You have a lead. Maybe you milk the clock a little bit. But as soon as it gets to a point where you disrupt the rhythm, not saying this is what's happening with Carey.
Right. No, yeah.
Right? You don't want that to happen.
No, and it's this one served in really nicely by Collar. Carey up on the ball. It's something that you can talk to your team about all day, and you know this. We're dealing with teenagers, but it's like instinctive for them to do it. And sometimes you've got these chances that you just give up on yourself, trying to milk 2-3 seconds. This one comes in, another opportunity there for Bethpage, crashing into the net, I believe, was Jack Barillo. And DeCastro just sitting there waiting on it. Another effort by Barillo.
And these Bethpage boys, they're just literally throwing their body at the ball, right? Ball's up in the air. They're just trying to get any piece of their body on that ball, just flying into it.
Like you said, all the blonde hair out there, waiting for the real Slim Shady to stand up. I mean, you don't even know who's who out there. They're just flying around. It's something's gonna break for them if they continue to put this pressure on. And this is the biggest spot. You got 9:30 left in the second half. And boy, right now, you know, they would love to get one and give themselves an opportunity to even take a lead on this. But Carey doing everything they can to hold on. We'll see if Cardoso can get something going for this offense. Nice distribution there. And the centering pass to Cardoso immediately broken up, and here comes Bethpage. Waxer with the ball. Just bulldozes right through there. Sends it down. They've got a break on the left-hand side. Good defensive play by Carey. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness.
He gave it to him.
Oh,
he gave it to him.
My goodness. Lombardi on the tackle. I mean, listen. I'm going to let you take this one.
Right, and he had it. He clipped him right on the legs. That's the right call from the official. Now, Carey has to be careful. Walk away from the official. You don't want to get a card in this situation. He made his call. Just walk away. I think it was the right call. He slid in him. He clipped his legs. He didn't catch ball, right? PK Bethpage, and now now we have Bethpage. They got to step up, and now let's see if Chris DeCastro can step up here in a tight spot.
Yeah, you never want to see a game decided this way or any part of the score, but it is part of the game, and the call made, a correct call by Strump. And now it's up to DeCastro to keep the magic alive, but again, this is a product of that absolute tenacity of this Bethpage offense and a huge spot in the game.
Looks like Kulak against DeCastro here. Let's see who comes out on top.
And Tosh, 1.0 in the net. We are tied at 1. And Kulak ties the game.
And we got a brand new ball game here, folks. You know, he sat there and he buried it. And what's funny is DeCastro, when he was on his line, he was showing him right. He was trying to show him right with the glove. He bid on it. He said, yeah, all right, you want to show me right? I'll go right. I can go right.
And how about, I love the camera work right there, hugging the ball boy at the end. And I love that, going over there and telling the ball boy, hey, man, good job.
Right, and we said this about 10, 12 minutes ago, right? The big Mo is on the Bethpage sideline, right? Let's see if Carey can now dig in here and start to have the big Mo go back to their sideline.
I'm just curious to see, too, now, if the gameplay changes. You know, you said it. It felt like Carey was settling back. They weren't getting as many. But, again, Bethpage creating all of that. But now, are these teams going to play for a tie? Are they going to keep banging? Or are they, oh, boy, a collision there. Taking the brunt of it, I think, was Anthony Tonkin, but he'll get up. And back the other way. Oh, my goodness, Cardoso, and it goes in the net! Cardoso with a goal. Collar came out too far, and what an answer.
And there was about a million things going on in the field on that play, Rob. There was men down on an injury. There was the quick restart, right? And then there was just confusion on the back line of Bethpage.
What a cutback past Collar. And just unfortunate off the leg of Michael Gaudio. That's an all-conference defender back there. He tried doing everything he can, and there he is, Cardoso. I mean, you know, you see a penalty kick, and, again, not the way you want to see the game go. You know, it's part of the game. It was a defensive play that was an easy call for the official to make. Looked tough in the bang-bang, but on the replay, the best call. And what a quick answer by Carey High School. But, again, this Bethpage team, relentless. They are the most dangerous team in the AA when it comes down to these waning minutes. 7 minutes, little over, remaining in the game.
And that goal all came off of that quick restart. You know, so many times you see teams as they get the ball, they set up, they take a minute to do it. Just put the ball down and go, and you catch teams turning around and not paying attention, and that's what happens.
And, Bri, you said it. I mean, a lot going on that play. Your eyes are everywhere. And then the finish.
Right, and I think with that collision and right around the 35-40, I think it took a lot of attention away from what was going on. I think guys might have been expecting somebody to blow a whistle for an injury timeout. There's just a lot going on. But we're back.
We are back, and here's a ball through to Joseph. Joseph's going to beat Collar. The ball's going to roll wide. Collar down on that play. Collar doing a nice job coming out of the net and keeping it clean.
I'd almost want to save that as a defender, right? Don't let them get reached. Just save that ball if you can and just let's go out and play instead of just taking this ball and playing from the back here.
It's a big boot there by Collar and a little collision. It looked like on the back for sure was Christian Conti, but then they kind of got tangled up and fell.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
Just a little bit.
A little bit.
A little close for comfort. But Collar now is going to head on down, take the free kick here on the 50. And what a dramatic few-minute exchange here for this AA matchup at Bethpage. And a big boot. Nice service again right in the box. The header bounces around. Carey once again manages to get the ball out. Folks, this game is an absolute classic at the moment. I mean, this is a potential playoff matchup between these two teams. And the Varsity Media Sports Network bringing it all to you thanks to Edge Remodeling and Francesco's Construction. What a game.
And let's see what Bethpage now can construct here on this throw-in.
It's time to build. Big throw there Ball bounces around in the box. Header by Lombardi. And we continue to go. It's still 80 degrees here in Bethpage at almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon. 4.5 minutes remaining in this one. Bethpage pressuring, looking to try to get this thing knotted up again. But what an answer by Carey. And Brian, you said it. I mean, they took a really tough loss on a Saturday, came back and tied the top dog, and now they are battling hard here against Bethpage. Both of those teams in front of them.
And that was a misplay out of Bethpage right there, right? That's just that's a simple tap back to the keeper and keep the play going, right? And saw it again right here, Carey. They're parking the bus. They've got 10 guys behind the ball right now as Bethpage is advancing their offense.
And taking their time here on the throw-in as they change throwers a few times. We'll see if Strump tries to push him along. He does. A big swing and a miss there, but Cardoso pulled up a little bit. And now Carey gaining possession again. Campoli battling it out there with Waxer. He's going to go down. And Campoli gets himself up. And look at what a gentleman Waxer is, huh? Just putting the ball down, saying, ready for you to go. Also telling Frank Fazone, let's get the play going a little bit. It's going to be Michael Lombardi over the ball. Little chip shot there by Lombardi. And the flick right on the net. Collar gets it. Collar with a big boot up the field. Nobody home. We got one fella there. And a bunch of Carey defenders as they are playing a strong 5-back. Trying to connect with Gorman. Ball's going to go out. So you can see Brady Herbert up on the right side for Bethpage. He's doing everything he can to try to get open on the right. He's got 3 defenders swarming him there.
Right, and if you're Carey now, it's just now get the ball down to the corner and just sit on it or attack.
Or attack, and here's the guy you want doing it, Cardoso, taking a really nice shot. But let's say where it all started, it was a great Malesio little back pass to him that made that opportunity possible. But Cardoso looking to try to get the Hattie. We are under 2 minutes here in this game. Bethpage looking to do what I would call the unthinkable, but if anybody's going to think to do it, it's going to be this Golden Eagle team. Carey still continuing to pressure the ball. They did create a few more scoring opportunities. Herbert on one-on-one versus DeCastro, who gets the ball first. 1.5 minutes now remaining.
Yeah, I think that the Bethpage magic, if it's going to happen, it's got to happen now.
And we've seen it happen in less than 30 seconds. That ball pushed through. Joseph gives chase. If he can get a foot, even better. Kicked out of bounds by Bethpage. Actually, it's going to be a foul call, and it's going to be a direct kick. And you got to tip your hat to the effort of Ethan Joseph. They're going to stop the clock. A yellow card has been assessed, and to be honest with you,
I'll take it because you're stopping the clock.
You just stopped the clock.
Absolutely, right, and that's fine because if you don't stop that clock, Michael Gaudio with the yellow card, if you don't stop that clock, now they can just run and they can let this go. But now the clock is going to stop until they kick the ball, and that's actually okay.
No, that's a high-five yellow card, to be quite honest with you. I'm sure he didn't intend to get it, but
correct.
That would have chewed up easily 10, 15 seconds of the 1 minute exact we have left on this game clock. So 60 seconds away. Carey taking their time, playing it into the corner. And they're just going to hold there and hope that Bethpage has that touch. Last touch is going to be off of Carey. Oh, correction. It's going to be a Carey throw.
Right, and they're going to swap throwers again.
Going to swap throwers. They're bringing in everybody in the kitchen sink. 30 seconds remaining. It's going to take.
That's a legal throw, and I don't hate that either, right? Need just killing more time.
Throws it back to Collar. Collar's got the big foot. If anybody can send it deep, it's him. It's a 40-yard kick. Carey wins it. We're down to 15 seconds. That one heads off into the trees. The ball boys doing their job. My goodness, they were quick on the call there. Bethpage trying to get something going here. Carey's going to put it out of bounds again. There's a little tie-up. Bethpage looking for a call. Yelling to the ball boy, and that's going to end the game. 0 on the clock, mid-throw-in, no call, and the Seahawks are the top birds. They rule the roost on this one today. They're moving up in the standings. And Brian Donahue, what does this mean for the Double A's? It's a mess.
It means it's just got a whole lot more complicated. It means we still got Southside on the top, Malvern East Rockaway and Bethpage tied for the 2, and now all of a sudden we got Carey in the mix, and they are charging.
They are charging, and Manhasset also in the mix. The AA3 turning out to be just a competitive juggernaut. And now we're going to get the high fives, and you can see again Christian Toto, the captain out in front. He is thrilled for his team, and Coach Princey as well. All right, folks, so we are going to take a look at some of the highlights of this game. And Coach Donahue, the Cardoso show.
Yeah, Evan Cardoso, absolutely man of the match here for Carey. 2 goals on the day. You know, the opening, the scoring, and the game winner here. And he was an absolute threat up top. He was somebody that put in a lot of work. There's the PK from Antoni Kulak. Right, and there's the game winner right there from Evan Cardoso. Right, I think he's going to be on a short list of players of the year in that AA3.
You said it. DeCastro doing it in net. Cardoso doing it offensively. And the Carey Seahawks, the winner of today's matchup, folks. That's going to end our match. We want to thank you for joining us here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. For our executive producer, the handsome Ben Turchin. Camera operators, Jeff Damo and Ron Pierre. The director today, Becca Kazaks. My partner, Brian Donahue. I'm Rob Anderson. But we want to thank you all for joining us here on the Varsity Sports Media Network. We'll see you next time.